Welcome in. You're dead. Let's go ahead and start with it. Now, what's next? I know that kind of does sound weird and taboo, but believe me, we do have to think about what we're going to do with our loved ones after they pass, and especially what we would like done with us. Yesterday, while recording a minisode, we got on a rant and just had a conversation. We stopped during the middle of it, and I was like, wait, this is episode worthy. Now, disclaimer, these are our opinions. It can get graphic. We're discussing death and what happens to dead bodies and what our personal preferences should be and experiences we've had. So, if you do have little ears, you might want to use viewer discretion and listen when you're alone. That's definitely something that I don't know if everybody wants their children to be listening about to. What do you think, Dawn?
I mean, some kids are more mature and some should not listen to this.
Yeah, there's some little ears that also, I don't know. I just wanted to put that in there because I know a lot of you do have children that listen to us. Back to the conversation we were having yesterday, I was kind of talking about how I'm just ready for something new. I would like to get out of here. I would like to find a job that maybe isn't your normal, everyday kind of job, something that I could do that's easy for my body and I'm going to enjoy, I'm going to love. One of the things that I was thinking about, like again, I said this might be taboo, but I would love to work on a makeup in the funeral home. I would love to be able to make a person look the way they did when you last seen them. And that way you can actually think, yes, that's my loved one. There's something about it for me when you walk into the funeral home to see someone who has passed and they look like they did the last time you seen them. If they can perfect that little bit of a smile, that just even does it more for me. It just makes them look more at peace, and it's something that I've been in awe with ever since I was a little girl. Now, I was also telling Don, of course, to do the makeup right, I figure I would probably have to go to some kind of cosmetology school, but I would like to go a little bit further with that. I would also like to get into makeup, especially when you have some let me talk again, reconstructive work that needs to be done. To me, if you can take someone who has had an injury or something happen to them and fix them back to the way they looked before, that's just really, it's beautiful and it's an art. That's something else that I would like to learn as well. Now, we also, like I was saying, was talking about our parents yesterday, and I feel like when it comes to your loved ones, that is the last memory that you have of them. And when someone does their job correctly and you can go in and see them laying there looking peacefully, there is a big closure there. I know with my dad, I did get to have that. He was a burial, of course, had an open casket. I saw him, I got to touch his hand, I got to say my goodbye. That felt that felt almost not like an ending, but just like a little close on that chapter. I don't know, it was just time to start healing. I did that with everybody else. I had those experiences with everybody else that has passed in my family. So when it come to my mom's passing in 2018, the money was a little bit tighter. We chose cremation. She did not get a viewing at her funeral, and we just had the urn there. I did want to go ahead and add in the little bit of service because mom would have definitely wanted that. But in the end, when I think about it, I didn't get to see mom there. I didn't get to see her laying there in something that I had picked out for her to wear, looking pretty, and her cheeks rosy again, her lips colored, her hair fixed. I didn't get that final moment with her. And to me, I don't know if I wish now that I had just done the open casket service and then sent off for cremation.
But also, just to play devil's advocate,
Right.
not everyone does a great job of makeup, and you don't know that she would have looked like something that you would have wanted to see as your last memory.
Well, I do know this place would have, but you are 100% correct. You
It's
are 100% correct.
yeah, you just never know how that's gonna go.
I
And
think that would also go to knowing who is taking care of your loved one.
right. And I think overall, probably for me, the biggest takeaway from this episode would be as a listener, get these things talked about in your family at even if you're 18 years old, things happen, talk about this with your family. You could even change your mind in 10 years, but then that means you need to have another conversation. You want what you want. If you're unsure, talk it through with people and make a decision, because these are things that should matter and that should be done in the way that you want.
100%. You may think again that this is another thing that's strange, but goodness, Hayden has known what we have wanted done and our wishes since he was 9, 10 years old, because he's just heard us speak about it. It's something that's talked about in our family because we understand that we're not going to be here forever. And we would like to, in the least, do as close as what we can to, for each other, being as in what they wanted and what they needed done for them. So it was done properly.
Right. It doesn't matter what age. I feel like the conversation about death and dying is really taboo. It shouldn't be. Everyone dies. Everyone is going to experience other people's death, whether it's friends, family, whoever. It's, I feel like, a conversation that should become more mainstream.
Oh, I agree. I do. Um, Gosh, death started young with me. My papa passed away when I was in the third grade. So that funeral, he was, of course, open casket. I guess I wasn't your regular young child. I saw the awe in it because that was my papa laying there. It's what he was supposed to look like. And when he was put into the ground, he was laying there exactly like he would have been if he was just sleeping. So to me, it was a closed, I don't even know how to say it, because when I say this, it sounds really harsh and I don't mean it harsh. But in my little mind, I got to close that page and Papa was laying there like he would have been laying when he was alive in the bed, just sleeping in the ground. So I guess that's why I look at it a little bit different as someone who does a good job and has your loved one looking the way they did once they were alive.
Yeah, no, I get it. Just from the short conversation before we cut it off yesterday, Amy and I have very different opinions on this. So, and they're not only are they different, I think they're on the extreme ends of them. You're more traditional in your
Yes.
thinking, it seems like. So for me, so what we did for my dad, this was a few years ago, he he wasn't religious. He didn't go to church. I mean, I'm sure he did at points in his life, but not that I knew of. And so my dad was really funny. His nickname was Laughin' Larry. He was just this cool dude. And so we didn't think, and this was something we didn't talk about. So we didn't know. We had to guess. We didn't think he would want people standing at a cemetery crying. That just wasn't his vibe. That wasn't his thing. We just didn't think he would like that. So what we did, well, I should say first, let me go back. What my mom did was she had him embalmed and we had a showing one night at the funeral home. And then we didn't have any services. We didn't have the cemetery. Approximately, it was within the week, I don't know, a few days later, we had rented out this amazing chalet looking place in one of our metro parks in Toledo. And he loved Bloody Marys, so we had a Bloody Mary bar and we played 50s music because he always had on 50s on 5. in his car, which is like the Sirius 50 station. So we just played that and everyone hung out outside and we just did a true celebration of life. For him, even after looking back, that was perfect. And
I
I
love
don't know.
that.
Yeah, it's very different. It's not what you would call traditional, clearly, but from my niece passing away, she was very young, she was
Mm,
4. That was so traumatic, that whole experience. So you're going through this awful thing. She was murdered. You have to deal with all of that and the cops and the dispatcher who put it in incorrectly. Like there's just so much going on and now you have to plan a fucking funeral.
right.
It's too much, And then and I don't know if this happened to us. I don't remember. Then on top of that, you have the cost. And the costs of funerals are insane and people cannot afford it. And I have a huge issue with how much it costs to have a funeral. I forgot to go back to the showing of my dad. I didn't like it. I didn't want it. I don't think people don't, to me, a lot of times people don't look like the person when they were alive. And I personally, I don't want that as my last memory. So that's kind of very opposite of you, where you want to see them in peace and know that they're somewhere good. For me, I'm like, this doesn't really look like you. This is stupid. Why are we doing this? And my niece really didn't look like herself. And I remember that clearly. And that was years and years ago, especially for kids. I feel like funerals are traumatic. I
Yeah.
don't think we should have funerals in general. It's too the situations are stressful as they are dealing with grief and death in general. And then you get all these people together and everyone's crying and I'm not saying obviously you shouldn't grieve because clearly I've been through plenty of grief. Like I get that process, but I feel like we should be celebrating people more than mourning, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. And back to like the difference between maybe someone who passes away, let's say today, and your niece, you are 100% right. There has been so much upgrade, we will call it, I guess, in the way and the techniques that they have to make our loved ones look a little better. So I do get that. Was Papa probably laying there like if I seen him now and and now at 42 years old, as I remembered him, probably not. There's probably some flaws here and there that I didn't notice in my little head. But I will say that that funeral home that took care of the majority of our family did do a pretty decent job. I don't know. I just didn't. I guess it's the difference of me not having a bad experience at a viewing, if that makes sense.
Right.
I've seen some shows or photos or whatever of people who have had really bad experiences. I just personally have not had one of those.
No, and I know that my views are left field. People want probably tradition and they feel like that's what they should be doing when their loved ones pass. So I'm aware that my view of we shouldn't have funerals because they're traumatic is not normal and not the way that most people probably feel. I just think hanging around, talking about that person, celebrating whatever was about them, talking about the great things, that's what I want to focus on. I don't want to sit in a room with a bunch of people just crying and standing over a casket at a cemetery. I don't know. After my niece, again, I don't know, maybe it was the trauma from it. I've probably only been to 2 other funerals,
Yeah.
which is shitty. Like, there are funerals that I probably should have gone to, but I was like, "No, I don't." want this. I don't think I can handle that. Even years later.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of them. It's very sad. And every funeral that I've ever been to, you can picture it in your head right now. You walk in, there's flowers all around. There's the video of the person that you're going to see when they was at their best times, having, their best life. And there's people crying, standing. It's so cluttered and you can't hardly get to the front. And then there they are with somebody that you have to try to find the proper thing to say to comfort them. And yeah, it's all the same. It's
It's so
very uncomfortable,
yes, I was just gonna say it's so uncomfortable.
but it's just what I'm from Kentucky, and it's just like unsaid you have to do that around here.
And there
But
are
I
things that make sense, like having that support system and knowing that people are there for you, but it doesn't have to be at a cry fest funeral. It can be at a celebration of life.
you talk about the celebration of life, and I'm talking over here about the mourning of life, two totally different ways to look at funerals. You also have to stop and think about cultures, religions. There is so many different ways that people can do celebrations or mournings, because it's pretty, like you said, it's pretty cut down the middle. You're either mourning or you're celebrating.
Right. On that note, I'll say that a couple of times when I've gone to New Orleans, I've gone to second lines, which I know seems kind of weird. Like, why are you going to a stranger celebration of life? But in
Wait,
the
I'm
past,
going to stop you because that's probably another thing somebody is going to be listening and asking, what is a second line?
a second line, let me explain first before I go into what we did. So, a second line is typically, I think, Southern because I had seen videos of them when I was searching what to do in New Orleans. I had seen them before, but hadn't really focused on it. I just fell in love with the tradition, and it's basically a parade celebrating the person who's passed. And the whole community comes out and everyone just walks around the block and they'll have coolers with drinks and loud music. One of the ones that I went to, they had a band on a float playing. It was
Aw.
amazing. Yes. And so it just felt like sort of how I feel of what we should do when someone passes is have a party or some kind of celebration, you know? And so the couple of times that I went to New Orleans, I went to second lines, which again, I know sounds a little odd, but it was something I wanted to experience twice, apparently. And I think not only is it Southern, but I think it might be also typically an African American type of celebration. I'm not 100% on that, but I guess I can do some research and see. I didn't expect to talk about this, but here we are.
That's cool. Okay, so would you be willing to experience it a third time? Because we might have to experience that someday. I would honestly love to.
Yes, I those were some of my favorite parts of the times that I went to New Orleans, and people will dress up. I There's a picture I have in a woman in full, she almost looked like a dancer at the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas, like full headdress, the whole feathers everywhere. I mean,
Love it.
people get decked out. It's such an amazing experience.
Now that you're saying that, I've got a picture up on my wall of bones. The Day of the Dead leader.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
got a picture of him up on the wall too. I love everything about New Orleans. This is off topic, so ADHD Amy over here. I went and visited New Orleans. I only got to go for a couple of hours a few years ago, but I wanted to drive over from Orange Beach and just experience it. Oh my goodness, I fell in love. It was hot. It was hotter than hot, but I found a little apartment that was for rent. I could have lived there. Shannon just was not willing to move, and it's because of the hurricanes. Darn it.
Agree.
so I can't go.
The people are so nice, but I I don't know, there's something about the second line. The 2 times that I did go, I was like, "You know what? I would love if this is what I had." This is not what I have written down as what I want, but this is definitely something I would do.
Okay, so what, how, if you wanted that and you wrote that down as how you wanted your celebration of life to be, what would happen if someone from out of town approached whoever you would approach and asked for that? Would I wonder, could you do that?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's something you might have to look into.
Well, I have a different plan, but either one would work for me.
Could you see Shannon and I and Tim and Carly and
Yes.
Evan all out there down this?
Yes. I'm
That would
ready.
be
Where are
great.
the aliens? Take me now.
We just make sure that you don't pass away close to a hurricane.
Right. No, not in hurricane season.
Because we can't. Yeah, we can't. We'll have to hang on to you.
Right. And I can tell you, so my plan that I have written down, and Evan knows all this, obviously, is I want a party similar to a wedding reception where there's a DJ with bad dancing and drinks, food. I want it emceed by a drag queen. Specifically, if Misty Violet is around, I would like her to do it. So I have a DJ, a drag queen, and a party.
At the Bell Mansion?
Sure,
How cool would that be?
that works.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, so mine is very specific, and I don't want a funeral. I don't want a showing. I don't want anything. I don't want people sad. I want a genuine celebration of life. Maybe 4 years ago, I saw this new way of dealing with bodies, which was human composting. It
Mhm.
takes 30 days. They compost you into soil, and then that place specifically was in Seattle. And it's becoming more commonplace. I think a couple of other states do it now. There's a park or a forest near that place. So they will either take your dirt from your body and put it in that forest, or you can give it to your loved ones.
Now, is that similar to what I shared on our paranormal couple page the other day where you go in the like the little pods through the
Yep.
big thing? I like that. I do. Do you, and you, how much was the price of it? Do you know?
So it was around 5,000 at the time, and I'm sure it's still similar to that. So it's no more expensive probably than a normal cremation funeral type thing.
I do like that idea.
Yeah.
I do. I like that.
Well, it's extremely eco-friendly. I have a car that plugs in and I'm a vegetarian, so might as well continue being a goth hippie even in death, right?
As well. And I mean, like Shannon and I, excuse me, like Shannon and I have said a many a times, we are running out of places to bury individuals. Where, where's the land? It's all being bought up, and where are you going to start burying people? Because we're making people by day, guys.
Yep.
We're just running out. So there is going to have to be different options. There's got to be.
Yeah, and like I said, my mom had the showing, which I didn't love, and then he was cremated.
Mhm.
So we have all these things that we had made with his ashes. We had these little globes, which are so cool. You just put it up on your shelf and it sits there, and dad's always there. We had necklaces made with his ashes, lighters, like we had all kinds of stuff made. Again, those things are really overpriced and they're taking
Right.
advantage of people, but that's what we wanted to do. So we spent the money. I was employed at the time.
That's exactly what Hayden wants to do with our ashes because Shannon and I are wanting to be cremated as well. I don't know if I want a showing or a viewing, whatever you want to call it, Because why do you really just, this is me, of course, I find peace in it, but let me turn around and completely talk opposite for myself of what I like. Why do you want to come look at me when you probably never even come looked at me in this several years, months, or, it's just weird. But then again, you stop and think, if you pass away, God forbid, when you're young, would that help people? Like, would that help Hayden?
Yeah, but you can show support to someone without a body.
You can, but remember where I'm from.
Yeah.
We have to come back into Kentucky for that part. But maybe if I relocate, that could be completely different. And I can just become a beautiful little compost that can one day bring nutrients to a tree.
And again, I feel like the human composting thing is a little left field and a little different outside of the box. Clearly not traditional in any way, but nothing else that I think about death and dying and funerals is so.
Well, think about how the tradition is soon going to be dying. Where are they going to go?
Mhm.
So we're going to have to come up with other options. And if we, as okay, I'm just going to be pretty blunt here. We as humans destroy everything that we touch. So why not at the end? I do like that idea, because why not at the end? Can we not give back just a little bit of ourselves to help with this world that, Lord, we've done so much to destroy? So I do like that.
Right. And you can do it at your own home and be there forever,
No,
or your family's home. You know what I
no.
mean? It
Take me to
so
a forest.
well, that too. You can do it however you want. That's the beauty of
Right.
it. You can be wherever. But for instance, the house that I grew up in, I purchased, I don't know, 6 years ago or so, and we planted a little maple tree in the front yard. So I would want a little bit of myself to be on that little maple
Mhm.
tree.
I agree. Yeah, I love that. But technically, if you want to ask me where I would like to end up, that would be in the ocean,
Oh yeah, I could see that for you.
because that's where I feel my best. So I don't know. Maybe it'd have to be a water burial, because you don't really want to put my soul in the water.
Yeah, water burials are so weird to me. I don't know why. I mean, it's not traditional, clearly, but you put yourself out there and likely you're going to get eaten by, I don't know what, sharks, fish, something. I don't know.
It's
Or
okay.
what if you don't and your body just stays in the ocean? Like, I don't know.
Fairly to goodness, I'd be tasty enough for something to want to eat me.
Not me. I'm like the skinniest little thing.
I've got enough on. You get a couple of, yeah, I got some good back straps and all that. Yeah, they'd eat me. I don't
I-
have to worry about that.
I'm not helping any fish stay alive.
I've got them. But yeah, I don't know. I would like to be, even in the least, if you can do the cremains in the water. You can have it scheduled and set up to where it's a good day to have them spread, and they actually take you out there to do that too. So maybe I wouldn't have to leave my destiny being to if a shark was going to eat me or not.
Oh, you know what else I think is something becoming a little more mainstream, a little, is not having a burial space. Like, no headstone. Your ashes are given to your family and they can do whatever they want. They can have things made, they can have an
Hmm.
urn sitting there, but you don't have a traditional headstone or like even a mausoleum space or anything. And I think that's becoming more traditional, probably partly because of the cost.
Ice, yeah, it's expensive. I do have two plots. I guess my family, you could say, we're burial family. That's just what we do. My Tony, I didn't call him grandfather or papa or anything. He was my grandfather, but he passed away way before I was born. But Tony and my mama Ruby purchased a whole plot back way before I was born. I don't even know if there's any slots or what you wouldn't call it a slot, any plots left in that one. But I do know that the one that my Nana and Papa purchased, I have two there. I have one for me and one for my partner. Will I go? Probably not. I don't really want, and it don't feel right either.
I don't
It
want
don't
that
feel
either.
right.
Well, and here's the really weird thing, because you and I both go to cemeteries and investigate.
Mhm.
I don't go visit my family at the cemetery.
I do because I really enjoy that cemetery, but I'm like, you don't have to go there. And so many people are confused. Well, why do you go to cemeteries? You think there's no, they're not. I can do this down the highway at the tree down past the barn. It doesn't matter where you're at. You don't have to be at a certain location. You don't have to be at a haunted house. You don't have to be at a cemetery. I could open up a spirit box right now. The reason why we go to cemeteries is because we just like them. In 2020, there was nowhere you could go, and I love cemeteries. I've grown up in cemeteries, sadly. So yeah, I don't really want to be in a cemetery. Just because I like them doesn't mean I want to be there, you know?
Right. They're peaceful. I like going
Yeah.
and even just sitting there for hour. Like, I'll go to the ones here in Los Angeles and just sit there, because there are some that are gorgeous and they have ponds and they're just so pretty. So
I want to go so bad.
I will go and visit other people, but I have never gone to visit my niece, my dad. That's just not where I want to remember them again. It's not, if I want to talk to them, I do it here. I do
Hmm.
it wherever I am at the time that I want to
Right.
talk to them. I don't need to be at their grave to do that. And again, this is just how I feel. I know clearly not everyone thinks that, and they feel like they want to go to a grave. That's okay.
Yeah, go as much as you want or as little as you want. We do not believe that your loved one is standing there at that grave waiting for you. Your loved one is where you are.
Right. And again, these are all just our opinions, especially mine.
Oh, I like that
'Cause
laugh. That was so
my
cute.
mine are a little out there.
No, no, it's not. And why I say it's not is because I think it's an amazing thing that we are doing by coming up with different ways to dispose of remains. We don't need them. Once we pass away, all of this right here, it's just going to rot, it's going to decompose. So why not take the part of me that I'm done with it, I was just meant to use here, and put it back to something that I've already taken away from? So I kind of do really like the option of the greener burials. I'm saying right now, I want to be cremated. You can go right over here to Indiana across the money saving bridge, and that's really what they call it. And you can get a cremation for $1,500. That was just what I was going to do because I don't really care about this anymore. I've used what I've done, Lord. It's held me up good. It's got me through life, but I'm done with it now. As we sit and we talk, we discuss new types of burials. I see videos of people sharing different ways that you can be buried, especially Lauren, the mortician. If you do not follow her, make sure that check mark's there. Of course, she has so many people that pretend to be her, but she also will share a lot of different ways for you to be put to rest. And a lot of them are pretty interesting. I see all this stuff and I'm kind of like, do I really want to be cremated right now? So I'm at that, as Don was talking about, you've made your mind up, but who's not to say that you might not change it a few years down the road? So I'm not exactly sure what I do want. I do know that if I passed away right now, sitting here in front of you, if Shannon had me cremated, I would be 100% fine with that. It doesn't matter. But it's nice to know that I have other options, especially options to where I can give back or I've took so much from.
Obviously, the human composting is the most eco-friendly, and then
Yes.
cremation, which does emit gases. So it's not as eco-friendly as human composting, but it's more eco-friendly than embalming.
Right.
So, cremation's kind of in the middle there. Clearly much more easily accessible than human composting because, like I said, I think it's only legal currently in a few different states.
And a lot of people, they think, "Oh, well, how's burial hurting the land, and how are we tearing things up by putting a casket in the ground?" Because whether you think about it or not, these bodies do have chemicals in them, and as they do what they do in the wild and decompose, they are going to leak into that casket. And whether you think that casket's going to last forever or not, it's not. It's going to become uh, little holes and deteriorated just as the body does. And that's just going right back into the ground. So you're still leaking out. It might not affect you, it might not affect your children, but it might affect your children's children. We don't know what could possibly happen.
Right. Embalming fluid is incredibly strong and toxic.
Yes. And it's not like, okay, well, that's just a little bit of fluid. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, it's horrible to bury. I'm just looking at other ways that you can look at it. One, as many people as we have in the ground, that's a lot of fluid.
Right.
A lot of
Agreed.
fluid.
Yeah, I have many personal reasons to not like embalming and bodies at funerals and all of it. So preaching to the choir.
If I was going to be buried, I would not want to be embalmed. So if you were going to do a showing for me, you better get the show on the road, Jack, because I do not want any of that stuff in me. You don't even have to take my insides out. Just, because what does it matter? Why would I want to put all that extra junk in me, anyways? Just throw me in the little pine box, cover me up, pat me down, and I don't need it anymore.
And within a day.
Yeah, because you better. I'm gonna smell kind of
Yeah, literally within a day.
within a day. You don't have much time with this one. She doesn't want to be embalmed. I don't know. I think all that's weird. I don't want you pulling my eyeballs out. I don't want you sewing my butthole up or whatever you do. It's just weird. Just
Yeah.
throw me in
Well,
there.
here's the thing too. When you go to a funeral home to plan a funeral and you're
Hmm.
deciding, what do I want with my loved one? I don't know that funeral homes are telling you all the trauma that they do to a body when they embalm it. And I don't think we should talk about it on here only because we could do a separate episode with very big disclaimers because not everyone wants to hear what
Well,
happened.
why wouldn't we just find a mortician?
Yeah, let's do that.
That would be perfect. That way we could learn as well. Because especially, I would be totally into that because that's something I would like to possibly have a chance to do one day. I don't want to do it here. I don't want to do it because I don't really want to stay where I'm at right now. But when I get to where I'm going, I would really like to start knocking on funeral home doors and maybe somebody would give me a chance to do some training.
Yeah, I just feel like that conversation should be consensual and not in this episode. It should be
Yeah.
something where people know we're going into very graphic embalming talk.
Here's what you're getting yourself into before you click play.
Well, and I'm not even saying funeral homes. I mean, people going through death and dying and grief are in such a weird headspace that, maybe funeral homes don't want to tell you everything that goes on when you get embalmed because you are already going through so much mentally. You just need to make decisions and get this thing planned. So, I'm not going to say it's terrible, but I wish people knew, which is why I want to talk about this.
No, honestly, as you are saying your sentence, kind of wondering to myself, how many people even think about it?
None.
Yeah, I never thought about it. What are you going to do to mama, before you bury her? What are you
Yeah.
going to do to dad?
Yeah. It's
It's just the unspoken word as I left Townsend's funeral home that, Amy, I'm gonna take care of your mama. I'm gonna take care of your daddy. That was, and so I get what you're saying. It's just not something. It's taboo again.
yeah. Yeah. And this whole entire conversation takes me back to Christina's episode, which was obviously a completely different situation. So we're obviously talking about normal deaths, not crimes, that kind of thing.
These two episodes are definitely not linked whatsoever. They are totally, let's just, for the moment, they're not even in the same ballpark. Yeah.
Right. I thought of that several times during this conversation. So I just want to be very clear that that's a whole different situation.
Yeah. This is normal death and dying, your daily
Right.
topic.
Right. Yeah. I just didn't want to minimize that
No,
because
no, because that episode, it's
horrific.
where that should never happen, and we are going to keep light, love, prayers, positive vibes, thoughts. I don't know what you give out, but we're going to give them out that will never happen again in Colorado.
Yeah. And if this is your first listening to us or you didn't hear those episodes, we put it into a part 1 and part 2, and they're episodes 15 and 16. And if you didn't hear those, oh my gosh, you really need to go back and listen to those.
Yeah, and here we are. What episode is this one now?
I have no idea.
Okay, this is probably okay. That was 15, 16, maybe 18.
I feel like
Maybe.
maybe 20-ish. I don't know.
Okay. Well, even at 20, this is going to be, of course, put out a little bit later than what we're recording it, but we're still sitting here with that case in Colorado and it's wide open. There's no
Yeah.
resolution now. So please, if it's not your normal thoughts and prayers for the family, let's definitely push those thoughts and prayers so that this does not happen again to anyone in Colorado, because
Correct.
this is unspeakable.
Yeah.
There's
And
so
here we
many
are.
laws that can change where this won't happen. And there's
Yeah.
so much education. So maybe we do. Maybe it would be a good idea to get a reputable mortician of some sort who can give us a rundown of the things that should happen during a normal passing.
I would love that.
I think that's a
Definitely.
great idea.
Yep.
Okay, that's on the to-do list, to look for a reputable, trusted mortician.
And if we
I know
can't
who I
get,
want, but
I know too, if we can't get Lauren, the mortician, which I know
yes,
you were going to say, my cousin owns a funeral home and he's a mortician,
that's perfect too.
but
Yeah,
we'll
that
try
works.
her.
Yeah, something about, I love the way that she can just get in there and explain what I need to know, and I understand it. And I like how she will demonstrate. So yeah, I don't know. We can try. We'll try to reach out to Lauren, Miss Lauren. If you don't follow Lauren the mortician, remember, like I said, look for that blue check mark. There are way too many fake profiles of her on Facebook. I do believe, is Facebook her main? I think so.
I actually don't follow her. I'm not sure, but I do want to say if you are going to look her up and listen to her content, it's
Uh-huh.
graphic.
Yeah, she's real. She's real.
So, no, it's graphic. Just be prepared.
Yeah, she's real with her information.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, she's real. Like, you ask
Yeah.
a question that most people would think not to ask, she's going to feature that question because everybody wants to know, but they don't want to ask. And I like that about her. She's real.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
know she started a podcast too.
yeah. Let's put out a post at some point when we get someone booked on your page and see what questions people would ask.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's important, because the first way to keep things like that happening is knowledge and education. So
Right.
yeah, I'm definitely down. Get those
Yeah.
laws changed and get everybody educated. the more you know.
And definitely tell us what you think. Do you think I'm crazy? Do you love my ideas? Do you just want tradition always, forever? Just let us know. We're on all the socials and we would love to hear what everyone else thinks about funerals and death and dying and all of the things we talked about today.
I I don't know. You still got to take. We got to go to New Orleans. Your third time's got to be. We got to go through that. I would like to
Definitely.
experience it. Yeah.
I would go to that all the time if I lived there.
Well, maybe one day we can do some traveling.
Sure, I'm in.
I'm down. No, I think this was a good accidental podcast, and it comes into another possibly needed podcast. So yeah,
Yeah, I love it. All
I do
right.
too.
Well, thanks everybody. We'll meet back here in a week. Bye.
See you later.